Hi Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your September 2022 new moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. This cleanse and meditation will be accompanied by loud sound. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. So let's see here, Pisces, what energy we have to be mindful of during this Libra new moon. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Ooh, love it. We have two coming out right away. We have the Lord, which is Aries energy, and we have the Seven of Cups. So we're going to be vacillating between two emotions that we really need to be mindful of. One is that we have to take charge. We have to be in the middle of everything. We have to know exactly what it is that we want. And if we do not have everything lined up perfectly like soldiers, then we're not doing it right. Then we're obviously going to fail. Or we have to be so assertive and so tenacious that nobody can question us. And that's not necessarily our way of going about it, especially if we're born on the cusp with Aries, or we have strong Aries within our chart. This is the way we're going to be addressing things. We're going to feel very drawn to this. And it's something we have to be mindful of because as a Pisces, we have to be a little bit gentler. We have to be a little bit calmer. We have to look at things and see the change of it, see how to move into it like the tide, gently but beautifully, but also with authority and determination. And we're going to have a bit of a hard time with that. So that's going to be energy we need to be mindful of because it's going to be energy that wants to take over. And yet on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, we're going to fall into dreams very easily. We're going to fall into daydreams and not want to deal with the reality of it, which is the emperors, the lords here, absolute place that he wants to be. He wants to be in the middle of everything. So we'll go from wanting to be in the middle of everything to just wanting to escape and not seeing the blessings that are around us, and very much staying in a place of nostalgia, staying in a place of dreams, staying in a place of wishes and what might be. So we're going to go from being rather dogmatic in things and maybe even a bit tyrannical, we can find ourselves being, to complete escapists, wanting to just live in dreams and not be bothered with the choices that have to be made. So that's just going to be something to be mindful of during this moon, because this moon is all about finding the balance. The new moon is all about the intricacy and beauty of things. It's about setting our intentions and seeing in the full moon, when the spotlight is on everything, how we came forward. Were we in the right direction or weren't we? Were we moving forward correctly for us or weren't we? So let's see what the cards have to say. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. So let's see what the cards have to say. We are crowned by the Eight of Cups. We're walking away from something. There's a very profound ending with this new moon. We have the Five of Pentacles. We have the Wheel. and we have the Three of Pentacles. I highly suggest, if you have Aquarius within your chart or you're born on the cusp with Aquarius, you also watch the Aquarius reading, because I'm very much seeing a correlation. There's a huge amount of change in the Aquarius reading that's coming forward, and there's also a very profound amount of change here right now, Pisces, that's coming forward for you. So if you have that link, very much look at that reading. All right, so let's look at what's going on here. There's an ending. There's an ending that's going to be changing things. It's going to be in the way that we work. It's also going to be in the fact that we don't like to work by ourselves during this time. If we do work by ourselves, we either need music on, or we need to go out for coffee or drinks with people that just energize us. We are going to be feeling isolated. So that's going to be something to be mindful of. Pisces, you do not like feeling isolated. So that's going to be something here that we have to kind of chop up. We have to say, okay, in those times that I'm feeling isolated, how can I put in people or interactions or, music that I love or books that I love to listen to, something that we can still be working, still be doing things, because I just see a creative movement of the hands. I don't know if it's writing or painting or if it is sewing, but it's something here, or sculpting. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's going to be something where you can listen. So just know that listening to something that connects you with people or connects you with a story, that's going to be very, very important during this new moon. There's a change that's coming in that's going to have you looking at things and feeling rather on the outside of wealth, on the outside of prosperity, on the outside of where it is that you really want to be. And this is going to be a time where there are going to be choices, not only during this new moon. So the new moon is on the 25th, right? It's not going to be just on this new moon. If you don't make these choices right now, you're done for. No, it's going to be, as we go from new moon to new moon. And there's going to be a spotlight put on when the full moon is in October, when we're looking at things, when we're seeing what it is that we want. And we're going to be looking at things so much more openly and honestly. We have been going through Mercury retrograde, and we will be up to the 1st of October. What is happening here is that Mercury retrograde brings to the forefront what we need to see, what we need to talk about, what the things that we'd rather hide away. And Spirit is saying, no, you can't hide it away. It needs to be in the here and the now. So we're going to be seeing, we're going to be talking about, we're going to be guided towards the places that we need to be. What it is that we really desire for ourselves, what it is that we want. And so we're crowned with an ending. And Pisces, we're all about change. We're represented by the moon. A moon, be it the new moon, be it the full moon, be it the quarter moon, it doesn't really matter. The moon means a lot to us. We'll find that we're more moon sensitive than others. But we might not know it. We might not make that correlation. We might think, oh no, I'm fine. But this is going to be a time during this new moon, during this time of introspection, where we find a lot of changes going on, where we're looking at things and we're finding where we're comfortable and where we're not comfortable, and where it is that we want to be and where it is that we don't want to be, what it is that we're looking forward to and what it is that we just don't want in our lives. And this is going to be a time for us where we're much more open and honest than we have been in a really long time. There's an ending coming forward, and that ending is going to be something that kind of takes us by surprise. We're not really going to be ready for it or realize that it was coming, but as it comes, it's like, oh, there really wasn't any way around it. We become rather surprised by the power that it brings us, or the determination that leads us forward. With the Eight of Cups, we're walking away from something no longer fits. It's no longer right. And this is going to be a change that we're looking at and we're thinking, I didn't think it was time yet, or I didn't realize it was time. But as we start to do this, and it's going to be something around work, it's going to be something around prosperity, it's something about money here. As we start to do it, it opens up our eyes. We're like, this is interesting. This isn't something I expected. And it brings us to this place where we've been feeling on the outside of wealth. We've been feeling as if the money isn't coming in, and with the economy the way that it is and everything that's going on, the Five of Pentacles is a very normal feeling to have. And with the Five of Pentacles, we're looking at the hurt and the pain and disappointment that we've been through. And the fact that it almost feels like everybody else knows and we're on the outside. But the fact of the matter is kind of, we've been looking in an old direction. We've been looking at a way that should have worked, or that we thought could have been for us, but it just wasn't. So here with the Five of Cups, or the Five of Pentacles, but I also feel the Five of Cups is there too. There's something very emotional about it. There's almost a change your mind, change your life energy that's coming forward. And it's like, okay, I can either be in this little ball, huddled in the corner, hiding away, or I can say I'm taking the key and I'm unlocking my destiny. I'm taking things into my own hands now, and kind of the heck with everybody else. I'm moving forward for me. I'm moving forward to where I need to be. I'm moving forward to what I really desire and what I really want for my life. And that leads us to this place where we start to realize we're not in this alone. There are going to be 3 people. It can be us and 2 others, or it can be 3 people around us that are just going to be so intricately important. One is much more focused on the details. I see this person as being about the details of it all. They are very detail oriented. They don't mind tests that other people would find very fiddly, very, very like, oh my gosh, you have to do that over and over again. Isn't that like just frustrating? No, this person is going to very much like that. They're going to want things to be slow and steady, and they don't mind doing mock-ups, and they don't mind, sketching things out and seeing how it works that way and seeing how it works this way and playing with words and playing with rhythms and playing with ideas. They are very much into kind of the puzzle solving of it. The other person is going to make sure that it's seen by others in a positive way. They're going to have a very good perspective at how others look in on things. I hope this makes sense. And there's you looking at the bigger picture, but there's also going to be somebody who also looks at the bigger picture and who's telling you, look at it this way, look at it that way, step back, see where it's coming from. And it's almost a sense of you need to step back from your work every now and then and see how it's coming in. It's kind of like the bigger scale of it. You can get very caught up in details, Pisces. So be very mindful of that. You have to step back and look at the bigger scale, because as you're walking away, as you're being led forward, it's almost like, oh my gosh, am I doing the right thing? This like wave of fear. And it does feel like a wave of fear washes over you, and you think, I'm never going to get to where I want to be. I'm never going to get to have what it is that I really desire. With the Wheel of Fortune, your fortune is changing. Everything is changing. You're entering into a new season. Now, be it this is the first new moon of fall or spring if you're in the southern hemisphere. This moon brings change, and it brings introspection, and that's going to be part of it. But there's a wisdom that's coming forward. There's a sense of being pulled in a certain direction, and you're going to be fighting it. So you might find that you're a little bit more sensitive or a little bit crabby during this time. And I hate to say it because, you're wonderful, but just know that you could be a little bit crabby, a little bit taking things a little bit sharply, or being a little bit sharp during this time. And it's because you're kind of fighting this change. You're fighting walking away from something. And it's almost like, I'm not willing to give up on it, or it has to work this way. Like it has to fit. But it's always like trying to shove your feet into shoes that are too small. It can fit. It's not going to fit. You can get blisters. You can, become in pain and, be kind of miserable about it, but it's not going to work. So here it's understanding that there's a need to look at things differently. There's a need to look at your own talents and what you desire. There's a need to step back and to say, oh, but I need to be here for me. Like, oh, but I need to be a part of this. And that opens up the doors. That starts to connect with you. And now you're like, oh, this is me, isn't it? This is where I need to be. The Wheel of Fortune comes in, and this change, we are going to fight it. We just are, Pisces. And we're going to think, oh my gosh, I don't want it. I don't like it. It's not happening. But once we realize we're not in it alone, and once we start to really address the fears that we have around money, around prosperity, around being seen as prosperous, around, not caring what other people think, and just moving forward, just being unapologetically ourselves, that's the game changer right here. And that's the confidence changer too. And that's where you go and you have the energy to be mindful of, the sense of, I'm going to force it. I'm going to be so structured and be so right and be that emperor, but kind of like Nero, right? Be that emperor who sticks to what I want as the world burns. Or be that person stuck in dreams that will never come to reality and just spend and spend and spend. Nero spent his money foolishly, but it's kind of like spend your money, spend your time in ways that won't amount to what you really want. So just be mindful of this. Just be mindful. Okay, let's look at what the moon has to say for herself. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Yeah, don't let pride get in the way. When it's time to walk away, it's going to be time to walk away. And Spirit is saying, talk about this right now before we pull any other cards to talk about the moon. But we're walking away, and we're going to have pride be a huge part of why we hadn't before, or where we thought we should be, or how we thought we should be. And now we're going to see ourselves really embracing an ending and understanding that, it's not about pride. When we look at things and we have our pride get in the way, we can get in the way of where we're supposed to be. Because we can have an idea, oh, this is how I'm supposed to do it, or that is how I'm supposed to do it, or this is who I'm supposed to be. And divinity has a different plan for us. And sometimes we have the bones of it, we have the outline of it, but we don't know the deeper meaning. We don't know exactly the journey that divinity wants us to be on and where they want us to end up. We know the song that we have in our heart and the passion that we have and the thing that's leading us. But the ride there, or the way divinity brings it forward, that's extraordinary. So here, just understand that when you're walking away from something, or when you're taking these twists and turns that divinity brings forward for us, don't let pride get in your way. An end isn't a failure. Sometimes it's a new adventure, and sometimes we need to quote unquote fail at something. Not succeed the way that we thought we were, not be happy the way that we thought we were going to be, in order to get to where we really want to be in our lives. And that becomes the game changer here. And it leads us to what the moon has to say for herself below. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. We need to have clear boundaries. When we're working with others, when we're working with ourselves, with our dreams, with our ideas, during this moon, we need to have clear boundaries. Things that we will do, things that we won't do. Things that we want, things that we don't want. And so this is going to be a time for us where, as we embrace the introspection of this new moon, as we embrace the balance of this new moon, we start to see the boundaries that we need. We start to see what we will do and what we won't do, how we want to move forward and how we don't want to move forward. And we start to see ourselves more realistically. We can start to see ourselves for the talents that we have, or for the time that we have, for the way that we want to move forward, for the places that we want to be, and not the limitations that we had thought were all around us before. And it leads us to fruition. We're bringing to fruition change. And by accepting this change, we're bringing to fruition what we want and what we desire. And we're actively taking part in a greater scheme, in a greater way of moving forward. And it moves us to attraction. If we have a poverty mentality, if we look at things and feel like I'm always going to be on the outside looking in at wealth, looking in at success, looking in at prosperity, that is what we're going to be attracting, especially during a new moon, during a full moon, during a significant lunar change. Okay? We can find that what we focus on comes to us more than we have imagined, more than we thought it would. And we think, oh, well, you see, this is what I was worried about. This is what I thought would happen. This is how I thought it would be. And Spirit is saying to us, yes, because what you spend your time focusing on, Pisces, is what you will bring to you. The moon is a very powerful time for you. Times of change are always very powerful for you, more so than other signs, Pisces. And so this is a time where we're looking at that change. We're looking at the growth, or the expansion, or even the decrease. We're looking at what's really important to us, and we're kind of, letting go of things that aren't important. And it's like, oh, this is where I need to be. This is what's important to me. This is what I want for my life. It's not everything else that everybody's telling me to chase after. It's this right here, right now. Things are going to be made more clear. And just know what you focus on, you will get threefold, tenfold during this time. And you will see it continuing, because it's what's being called to you. It's almost like a siren, right? The siren calls the sailor to their doom. But if you can withstand the call, and you can see the beauty that the siren brings, and tie yourself to the mast pole, right? You can experience something that is extraordinary, that nobody else experienced. I believe Odysseus did that. And there's a sense here of, you can see the wonders. You can look at things in a way and be inspired in a way that you never thought possible. So let's see what subconscious energy the moon offers. Hold to your vision. Hold to what you hunger for, but be mindful of that hunger. Because, the wolf moon is, I believe, the January or February moon. I can't remember which one. But it's called the wolf moon because that's when the wolves in bygone days, when wolves were much more prevalent, they would get hungry and they would be much more daring because they were starving. So here, what do you hunger for? And there's that point where you're hungry enough that food tastes delicious, right? But there's past that point where you're starving, and then you have to be very careful of how much you eat and, you know, what you're eating, because it can be too rich, and then it can be bad for you. So your hunger mustn't be starvation. Your hunger must be what you want, what you're focused on, but not become the obsession. Hold true to your vision, yes, but don't let it consume you. That's going to be very important. It moves you to your subconscious energy to be mindful of, and it's the world. Once we decide on something, Pisces, we're going to want it instantaneously. It's going to be like, I'm going to conquer the world, and I'm going to do it tomorrow at noon. It's not going to work that way. You're going to want to be open to the whole entire world. You're going to want to achieve what you want, but go about it slowly and gently. Don't make unrealistic expectations for yourself, or set these unrealistic expectations, and then you'll become frustrated when they don't pan out, because you're supposed to be conquering, and then you'll retreat and not want to do anything. Set realistic expectations, even ones that seem a bit small, you know, and you're like, oh my gosh, well, that's ridiculous. I can easily do that. And then when it comes time to it, it's like, oh, okay, I get distracted here, or I'm working on this and I'm working on that, and this person needs me, that person needs me. And you kind of prepare for that. And then you set the expectations, and then you do it really, really well. And then you can be proud of yourself, and then you can move forward. So let's see the subconscious. Yeah. Tarot message is the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands is celebration, success. Celebrate your successes. Celebrate your prosperity. Celebrate what you truly love and truly want, and call upon your blessings. Subconsciously, you have to remember to celebrate you, Pisces. That's going to be so important. And subconsciously, you're also going to be celebrating you. Seeing yourself as a success, which can be in contrast with the Five of Pentacles, right? The way that we see ourselves as we're walking away, as change is coming in. We can feel completely overwhelmed. But subconsciously, we know our worth. We know our prosperity. We know our power. And that's the game changer. All right, Pisces. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with the meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy, as we embrace the power, intensity, and beauty of this new moon and of ourselves. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Pisces, and may you have a blessed moon.